Africa, South Africa, South Africa.
Comrades, it's been a hectic start to 2025. Coming up on today's special live broadcast of Politically Aware, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Paul Kagame are all beefing with South Africa.
The South African situation is very, very dangerous and very bad for a lot of people.
But at the State of the Nation address, President Ramaphosa stood his ground.
We will not be bullied.
And talked about progress made in the government of national unity since last year's elections. But not everyone is buying it.
The GNU have fallen short of accountability.
MK Party's position is that this is a failed state.
So what's the deal? Is our nation in a state, or are we getting on top of things? Especially all the corruption. And what's this about Afrikaans refugees? Comrades, this is too much for me to tackle alone. Luckily, I brought reinforcements, and you at home can also get involved. Live from Cape Town, South Africa, let's get away. Hello, comrades. Welcome to my battle with the teleprompter. And also welcome to our first live show of 2025. Will it be the first and the last? It all depends on how long you think we have left with these crackpot leaders we have in charge. The year has just begun and there's a new Trump executive order every single day. And one of those is that he wants to take Maverick and Elon away. Elon Musk and his 4-year-old son, whose name can only be pronounced by Khoza Bibo. They seem to be in control and calling all the shots in the White House. And Lesotho comrades, aka our tenants, aka South Africa's water tap, aka the 10th province, actually took us to the UN because they are claiming parts of KZN, the Eastern Cape, and the Free State. Guys, we are only in the second month of the year. We are halfway through February. Imagine Zulu people waking up and now they are in Lesotho. And now the province has to be renamed KwaZulu-Natal. And the capital of Lesotho is moving from Maseru to Kwanongo. The truth is, Trump has cancelled life-saving aid around the world. We are fighting in the DRC. Rwanda, the size of Durban, saying that they can move us. The DA Cape Town officials are being raided. Joburg water cars are getting intense. And as if that wasn't enough, load shedding has decided to go normal. Let me just make a tent for the weekend and sprinkle some more dramanyana, just for control. We should have known when they declared last month the hottest January in history that some people are not going to take it well. I don't know if it's climate change or the record-breaking temperatures putting people on the edge, but everyone seems to be fighting at the moment. Even Julius Malema and Elon Musk.
Tech billionaire Elon Musk is calling for sanctions against EFF leader Julius Malema and wants him declared an international criminal. Malema responded to Musk, labeling him a typical racist.
Listen, it's good to see Malema back on his game. The man has been losing friends faster than that time we lost weight. I'm jealous. It's like he's been taking Ozempic for friends. From Floyd Shibangu to Dalimbofu to the People's May, who recently took a permanent vacation, and it hasn't been pretty.
I also request to resign my position as Member of Parliament and all positions in the EFF.
Oh, that's exactly how I look when I'm in no sugar diet. I do go no sugar diet. And where did Freud go?
I've decided not to renew the membership of the EFF because I will join and participate in Umkhonto Wesizwe party.
Freud Shiba, whose brother Brian was implicated in the VBS looting scandal, joined the likes of Siyabonga Tama, who was implicated in the Transnet scandal, and Jacob Zuma, who was implicated in all the scandals. There's a saying that says thick as thieves, but I'm not sure everything is so high-dory over there at MK Party at the moment.
Mkontuesizwe Party President Jacob Zuma has issued an ultimatum to the MK Party Member of Parliament Duduzile Zuma Sambundla to immediately apologize to Party Secretary General Floyd Chivambu or face expulsion. The order comes after Zuma Sambundla insulted Chivambu in her post on X, formerly Twitter. Zuma has labelled her utterances as unacceptable, divisive, degenerating and offensive.
Her post on... Not the child. X, the app, Comedic, catch up.
People interpret apologies in the way that they want. The people interpret the statements the way they want. I'm not going to comment on that because I think it's quite there and clear and black and white.
It's a bit of a touchy subject, but not as touchy as the alleged millions of rands that have disappeared from the party's piggy bank. Look, we all know that was bound to happen. Even this guy saw it coming.
There's no way MK is going to fight corruption. It's an epicenter of corruption.
But comrades, it's not just MK. In the last few months, since the formation of the GNU, there are still new corruption scandals coming up.
VBS Mutual Bank scandal has resurfaced, with media reports now linking Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Thembi Simelane to that saga. Politicians and bank executives were apparently looting millions from the institution.
You know it's bad when the Justice Minister is the one who's looting. The Justice Minister, guys. I mean, at this point, the jokes are writing themselves. Even the so-called Party of Kid Governance, the DA, has got smaller skeletons in their purse.
The Police Commercial Crimes Unit descended on the municipalities' offices as part of an ongoing investigation into alleged fraud in the construction industry.
So, comrades, long story short, corruption is still everywhere, but at least the 44 people in South Africa who speak Afrikaans. We now have a ticket out of here. Baba Johan.
US President Donald Trump has offered to resettle members of the South African Afrikaner community as refugees in the United States.
A few moments later.
We see our future in Africa, and we are going nowhere.
Wait, Kali. Kali, wait. So let me get this straight. You spend all that time and money going over to the USA telling them there's a white genocide in South Africa. And then you get offered a way out. But then you find out there's no spare. No African people love spare. You also find out there's no clip drift here. So you decide, I'll stay. Comrades, as usual, Mzansi has load shell, but luckily, here to help us understand what the hell is going on, there are two incredible journalists from the corrupt Stratcom woke agenda-pushing mainstream. Please welcome investigative journalist Onke Ngcuka and the Daily Maverick Suné Payne. Onke and Suné, welcome, you fake news agent provocateurs, stooges of white monopoly capital. How are you doing?
As dizzy as this year has been.
Look, this year has been... It's been weird. I mean, like, even the start of the year, it started on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Or WTF. Or what the... Would you guys agree that's how it's been going out so far?
It's only mid-Feb and it feels like the same already. I'm done.
We're quarter into the year and it's been an year and a half already, so it's hard.
It's the 48th of January. Okay, so the big news everyone is wondering about is Trump's attacks on South Africa. What does it all mean? Can you explain to us a bit more,
Yeah, absolutely. So Donald Trump signed an executive order that cut off all US funding to South Africa due to the land grabs, the land expropriation bill, and offered refugee status to Afrikaners to escape government-sponsored race-based discrimination. President Ramaphosa and our new DA Agriculture Minister, John Steenhuisen, initially rushed to placate Trump and his co-president, Elon Musk, that's white genocide, and land expropriation was not happening. Steenhuisen had to do some fancy footwork, aka pantsula, between speaking for the government as part of the GNU while disagreeing because of DA party ideology.
There is no land being expropriated on a mass scale from anybody in South Africa without compensation. That's not to say that the Expropriation Act is not harmful, and that is why it is being challenged legally by the DA. But we have to make sure that we safeguard our agriculture sector and our agriculture jobs. If commercial farmers and small-scale farmers lose the opportunity to get goods into the United States of America, we're losing access to one of our big markets.
Not only is most of SA mad at AfriForum, this situation threatens the AGOA, the treaty to sell agricultural produce to America. So now Agri-SA are mad at them too.
Our government is very good to us. They actually just fixed our road there on the gravel road, and they're building RTP houses for the people, and that actually boosts our business, because now there's going to be more people buying chickens from us and eggs and also pig meat and so on. I think they should stop spreading lies and propaganda. There's crime in every country.
Thank you, Jan-Piet. MK, while saying the Expropriation Act didn't go far enough, then opened a case of treason against AfriForum.
We went and we opened up a case today, as you stated, off the back of what we believe these were acts of treason. AfriForum here went and lied and misled through their allies and having engaged with the US administration, and that has led to an executive order, which is a total total betrayal to the South African people.
After Ramaphosa graduated from being cupcake to cake, put on billboard pants and said, South Africa can't be bullied, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio refused to come to the G20 summit here as he didn't want to waste taxpayers' dollars coming to a country that's anti-American.
Oh, second, but on the bright side, Trump might have given us a punch to the gut, but at least our boy Dr. Duplessis showed America who's the big boss. When he beat Sean Strickland in the UFC championship, I was so proud, you guys. It was like low DNA RSA.
Obviously, Trump being re-elected, which is absolutely incredible. I think he's an amazing, amazing president.
Cut. Made a mistake, guys. Suné, tell us what you think about South Africa's response to these threats from the US and what they mean for us as a country.
Well, there's been a lot of reaction. South Africans have been sharing actually what the victims of white genocide have been doing. Partying, living their best lives. But in Parliament this week, we've heard everything from we need calm, we need voices. One person actually said, taps and move. It's everything we need to know.
Don't mix with us. And for those of you who are tuning in from home, don't forget to send us your comments and questions in the chat or on social media. We will be answering all your questions later in the show. Now, Onke, it seems like we can't catch a break. It isn't just Trump who's beefing with us. It's also the US president, Elon Musk.
Indeed, Elon Musk tweeted on his social media platform X, asking President Cupcake why our country has racist laws, probably referring to the Expropriation Act, but also possibly to our BEE laws, but also probably just South Africa for existing, which he's been trying to get around to launch his Starlink internet service in South Africa. These laws are all about redressing the wrongs of decades of apartheid, but of course, for Musk and his followers, moving in the direction of equality looks like oppression. Then Musk and his kid X appeared alongside Donald Trump in a bizarre press conference in the White House recently to update everyone on how his Doge, or Department of Government Efficiency, was doing.
Guys, that's weird. Like this dude is giving an actual press conference in the president's office Was the kid right there? The audacity, the gumption. It can only be from a white guy who has gotten about this sort of.
Career U.S. Treasury Department official David Lebrick has been forced out of the agency after he resisted a demand by Elon Musk and his associates at Doge to gain access to the government's vast payment system. What do you mean that Elon Musk is staging a coup?
So if this story was taking place somewhere in Central Asia or in Africa, the United States media would likely refer to this as a coup. A billionaire industrialist who donated $300 million to a campaign is installing his personal loyalists in key parts of the federal bureaucracy. In any other situation, this would be called state capture.
Look, a wealthy foreigner from abroad gets contracts for their own companies and goes into cahoots with the president to control key institutions. Why does that sound so familiar?
A mountain of newly leaked emails has helped expose what many believe is a criminal plot to capture the state itself. The emails appear to show how one wealthy Indian-born family, the Guptas, allegedly bought or bribed their way into the heart of government and the presidency of Jacob Zuma.
To all our American viewers, we like to say, we see you. Welcome.
It's giving state capture the retail, Baba.
As for President Musk and Donald Trump, we have a handy tutorial for you guys as you get started on your very own state capture project. Have a watch.
I've been in this game for years. It made me a comrade. Rules to the shit. I wrote me an aid, a step-by-step class for you to grasp how looting works, so you get your perks. I'm Biggie Smalls, Mazivu. This is Masterclass, and together with my comrade Celine.
You mean?
Rule number uno, never let no one know how much dough you hold.
This rule is all about keeping things low-key. You get me? If you're planning to loot, what?
Number two, never let them know your next move.
The Midnight Cabinet reshuffle is a step to success.
I've decided to make changes to the National Executive.
But watch out for snitches who might confess.
Members of the Gupta family offered me the position of Minister of Finance.
Make sure you capture the board of state-owned enterprises to lock your hoard and then become a vendor to secure that tender.
Number three, never trust nobody.
Looting is a team sport, and loyalty must be bought. From officials to accountants, auditors, and beyond, a corrupt deal is just the perfect way to bond. Take Bosasa, for example, paid 75 million bribes to score R1 billion tenders, just for vibes.
1 million exactly.
They even paid Cyril Ramaphosa's son Andile a penny or two. And epic birthday bashes for Zuma, they threw.
Number 8, never keep no weight on you.
Some people have the weight of their conscience. It's an annoying thing to deal with. It's nonsense.
Assisting the Guptas to steal money from the public purse, in my view, was something that was going contrary to my principles.
It's much better to get people on board who have faulty memories or will fall on their sword.
Well, I don't remember exactly now.
I don't remember.
I don't exactly recall.
You married?
I don't remember. You know something. Tell me what you know. What I know, I don't remember. That's the bottom line.
The good news is that looting is still a viable, lucrative, and exciting career path if you're willing to bribe hard, silence witnesses, pop a sleeping pill, and the societal consequences.
A luta continua.
Comrades, I hope you enjoyed the inspiring masterclass. But on a serious note, don't forget to send us all your questions and comments on social media. You know where to find us. It's at Politically Aweh. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but it feels like absolutely ages since the South African state capture years. Before I was reminded of it by what's happening in the USA, I had basically forgotten about it. Onke, can you give us a quick recap?
Absolutely. As your brilliant masterclass showed us, during the presidency of Jacob Zuma, there was a wide network of individuals in the president's circle, in particular, the Gupta family, whose companies benefited from large contracts from the government. This was achieved by capturing the boards of state-owned enterprises and replacing those with their own cronies to approve large tenders for themselves. As the truth started coming out, President Zuma was pressured into setting up a commission to investigate these transgressions. Eventually, on Valentine's Day, he resigned. What a loving man. The commission heard testimony from 300 witnesses over 429 days, with about 1.5 thousand entities being implicated in state capture and 1.7 million pages of evidence. No wonder he was miserable and terrible with numbers.
Suné, the Daily Maverick was a media company that received the famous hard rub with the Gupta leaks on it. Can you tell us about those and why then was so significant?
So it starts with two men, John and Stan. We know nothing about them besides those two nicknames, essentially. They were working within the Gupta Empire, and one day they stumble across this treasure trove of just documents, flights, who gets money, just everything. I mean, clearly these people had never watched The Wire. And they had felt it was country duty to actually find somebody who they could trust to take it to. They went to respected activist Mark Haywood, and as a result, he went to Daily Maverick, News 24, Amavungani. Journalists just dug into these documents day and night, ultimately culminating in a series of articles that I think fundamentally changed the way we look at South Africa, politicians, and corruption and a certain president.
The Zondo formation into state capture cost us 8 billion rands and lasted 4 years. And I think many of us are wondering, what was the point? Did anyone do anything with that gigantic report? Well, at least one organization who's been using it and trying to get some accountability. Please welcome Letlhogonolo Letshele from the counter-revolutionary George Soros-funded CIA propaganda machine, Open Secrets. Letlhogonolo, you came in ready for the... Letlhogonolo, please tell us, the State Capture Commission, was it worth it? I mean, imagine all those trees that had to be cut down to print the report. What's been happening with the report since it was finished 3 years ago?
I mean, I don't know if it was worth it, but I mean, where would we have gotten all the gems that we spoke about in the clip? I mean, it's been 3 years, it will be 3 years in June. And what we got was recommendations by Zondo. We gave a mandate to some institutions to really implement changes, like for us to go a bit further as a country. There was recommendations to the NPA to prosecute these people. Let's change our legislation. This was for Parliament and some of the institutions as well, your SOEs. So that's what has come out of this on the commission. But the problem is that, as the public, we are not really seeing what has happened since the past 3 years. I guess likely because of the son, I think to expect, the president's brought us into his confidence to say that there has been some bit of movement.
But has even one Crescent got to jail? That's what we know. Where are the orange overalls?
To be honest, there hasn't been any high-profile, successful prosecution. I remember there was a case of Zizi Kodwa sometime last year, but towards the end of the year, the case was withdrawn, and the NPA did not even disclose clearly, why they withdraw the case. Even, corruption-related cases around, the SOEs like Transnet, what happened, the ESCOM, there hasn't been movement, on those cases. In fact, the people that were actually implicated there in Parliament now, ironically, and they are overseeing, these institutions that they collapsed. They're actually overseeing the implementation of the recommendation. So it's quite difficult. And I guess another important part, while we are not moving, I guess it's also, the NPA does not even have access to the full archive of the Zondo Commission. So those are some of the issues why we are not technically not moving in terms of, implementing the recommendation of the State Capture Commission.
So the National Prosecuting Authorities Director, Shabile Batoi, recently told Parliament about the challenges facing the NPA. Can you tell us more about that?
So, as I reported last November, the issues at the NPA are deep. Staffing issues. Also, the mere fact we forget it's not only state capture cases that need to be investigated. Murders, assaults, all of these kinds of issues that we see. But as I reported, one of the big problems the NPA is facing is the fact that skilled forensic investigators are leaving the NPA. Black African women largely are leaving simply because they don't get paid enough. Imagine you're working at the NPA, you earn 300,000 Rand a year. The private sector comes, offers you more money. What are you going to do? The other issue is the SIU is also taking money, taking skilled investigators. Investigators at the SIU sometimes earn R1 million. What are you going to do? What's your choice going to be?
Do we have any hope of getting arrested?
Eventually, it will happen. The NPA needs to get their act in order, the police as well. But if you're feeling hopeless about anything about state capture, just check out the Special Investigating Unit on Instagram. They publish cases to absolutely fun music, I must admit. So if you need a pick-me-up, just go there.
Onke, in President Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address recently, he spoke about infrastructure growth and progress made under the GNU, but he also addressed how the government is tackling corruption.
Absolutely. Suné this year was held at the Cape Town City Centre as Parliament is still being repaired after it was burnt down in 2022. Ramaphosa highlighted during his speech the establishment of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption as a permanent entity of the NPA, a new digital forensic lab, and that progress is being made based on recommendations from the State Capture Commission.
The Special Investigating Unit and Asset Forfeiture Unit report that over 10 billion Rand has been recovered in state capture-related cases.
Told you, we love cash back. Give us. Give us. You count. Woolworths Smart Shopper card. We like. Some of you have got all the cards.
Ramaphosa also highlighted the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council and spoke about whistleblowers.
And we will finalize the whistleblower protection framework and introduce the Whistleblower Protections Bill in Parliament during this financial year.
A lot of bold promises there, but progress feels slow, and we've heard this many times before. Let's just say opposition MPs weren't too impressed.
Do you feel that the GNU is having any hindrance on, South Africa seeing accountability from our ruling party and overall government?
I think they have fallen short of accountability. I don't think that's their role. I think their role is to form government and to actually co-opt most of the policies of ANC. People who are, fingered in the Zondo Commission occupying spaces in Parliament today. They are our colleagues, they are with us. So I don't think it has been effective in terms of really achieving what it was supposed to be. There has been no justice. They have been rewarded with even more posts.
It's interesting to see that there are obviously going to be tensions and compromises as the DA tries to govern alongside the ANC, especially where it pertains to corruption and accountability. The Phala Phala scandal has also received less airtime in the public domain from the DA where accountability is concerned.
Phala Phala is a miscarriage of justice. It's a hypocrisy that will follow this country and the presidency of Ramaphosa until he goes down to his final resting place. You cannot preach anti-corruption when you yourself are the first accused and you refuse to be held to account. Clearly, we've got a president who doesn't respect the law. I hope the whole country understand the hypocrisy of the DA. In the desperation for power, the desperation for blue lights, they have chosen to go against their own convictions to protect President Ramaphosa.
I'm not sure how serious to take accusation of hypocrisy and corruption coming from the MK party. But Honorable Makumela makes a good point all the same. So, Suné and Onke, how do you think the GNU is dealing with corruption?
Right now, I think they're all just fighting for the spotlight and trying to be seen.
I think also with some of the issues that have been coming up around the Justice Minister, around the Minister in the Presidency, as well as now allegations which are being proven now false against the Public Works Minister, it feels like there's a bit of a bait for evidence before action. But it's early days also of the GNU. It's only 6 months old at this point.
And you guys at home, what do you think about the government of national unity? Are we getting on top of corruption and seeing better governance? Or are things the same as before? Send us your thoughts. Now, comrades, we know that corruption is bad in the government, but it takes two to tango. The private sector was very happy to play along and get rich from the dodgy state capture contracts as well. Are you a student looking for a job in South Africa's hellscape of a job market? Well, here's a little career guidance for you, a video for you. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Marcus Rupertheimer, and I'm here to tell you more about the amazing career opportunities available to graduates through SAICAP, the South African Institute of Crony Accountants and other professionals. Many accountant graduates follow the CASA or corrupt accountant route by articling at firms such as Deloitte, PwC No Evil, KPM Just Like, or EY Accord. In the last decade, these firms have assured us that the financial statements at places like Steinhoff, SAA and Tongaat Hewlett are hunky-dory, right until just before everyone realized they weren't. Surprise! Pension fund investors who lost billions and workers that lost their jobs were very surprised. Who doesn't love a good surprise? Now, there are always exciting career opportunities in a management consulting space at firms like Payne, where consultants advise SARS on how to restructure. The result? Billions in tax revenue losses, increasing the national debt, and opening the doors to state capture. How's that for Payne drain? See, your career can be impactful. Or why not join McKinsey? A company with a proud history of such super dodgy contracts at Transnet and Eskom that the NPA is charging them with fraud and corruption. You can always try banking at Standard Bank, Nedbank, or FNB, for instance. All you have to do is nothing when you see tons of red flags linked to suspicious transactions involving the Guptas. How can we not help you? Not into finance, but you still want to contribute? SAICAP also offers our LLB or Look Like a Badass designation for lawyers. Useful this past decade at firms like Hogan Lovells, where you can conduct investigations that clear dodgy people of any wrongdoing. Launch your career today with SAICAP for professionals who care about money and
So, what can you tell us about the role of the private sector in capturing South Africa? Are they eating just as much as the government, and why is it more?
I know the private sector looks good on camera, but I guess they, just as evil as the government. And I guess one of the biggest critique of the Zondo Commission was that it didn't focus on the role of the private sector too much. They really focused on the politicians and the government. And hence, Open Secrets, our role is to show that, the private sector is just as evil. Remember the Estina dairy case? We had actually banks facilitating, the crime there, where you had FNB, and I think it was Standard Bank as well, that allowed suspicious transactions, by these banks. They never questioned where the money is coming from, where it's flying to. They were just happy to, keep the money in the bank and make profits. So yeah, the private sector is very complicit, in state capture. I think the previous clip also mentioned Transnet, where McKinsey was the consultant there. And I think there was also a company called Regiment's Capital as well, where they inflated the cost of the locomotives. So one of the money, our tax money, went into the pockets of those institutions. So they do play a role, and even if they paid the money back, that's McKinsey. But I guess there wasn't prosecution for them after all.
Well, the private sector is shitty. One of the best ways to get a more free society would be to make sure we help and protect whistleblowers. They were key in helping us combat state capture. But the problem is that they are a species under threat in South Africa. Let's find out more with a little help from our friend David Attenborough. Tembo.
Why, hello there. Today we observe a herd of the Homo office workers going about their daily routine. But one among them is about to undergo a perilous journey. Watch as he suddenly notices something. He has found droppings indicating the presence of the lutus cancerus. The lutus cancerus, or luta for short, is a devastating creature that can devour the resources of an entire forest until there's nothing left. It protects itself by blending in with the rest of the population. This deadly species thrives in South Africa, found just about everywhere from government offices to company boardrooms. For this humble Homo workers, it is a pivotal moment. It has decided to metamorphosize into the exquisite Homo whistleblowers in order to save the forest. Here it is now, taking evidence to the Alpha. Alas, it would appear that the Alpha in question is in fact a lutus cancerus, isolated, hungry, and in constant danger. The whistleblowers attempts a warning dance to alert the rest of the workers about the presence of the deadly lutus cancerus. Just when all seems lost, the dance works and alerts the rest of the workers to the presence of the lutus cancerus, and the tide turns. Incredible, the whistleblowers has survived. Unfortunately, this is not the case for all of them. If a forest doesn't listen to the warnings of the whistleblowers, it could lead to the demise of an entire ecosystem. It is vital for us to play our role in preserving this endangered species.
Thanks to our friend Temaroy for guest starring in that sketch. Now, Onke, South Africa has some unique challenges for whistleblowers.
Indeed. The problem with whistleblowers in South Africa is that we still think that they are imbibi from the apartheid days when people snitched to the police. This might be why even today there's not enough protection for them, and they can sometimes pay the price with their life. Just listen to this experience from SAA whistleblower Cynthia Stimpo.
I got suspended and lost my job for it. Then no one's going to talk to you and your name is tarnished, your reputation's tarnished. It was as if somebody punched me in the gut.
It really does trigger me, and my apologies if I become emotional. Because the post-traumatic stress disorder that I've gone through, just doing country duty. I started 12 years ago
Take it
as a junior employee, and I was actually congratulated by my colleagues for showing them that an ordinary person, by working hard, can get to the top.
Because we've come out of the apartheid system where people informed on others, so it was a negative connotation. Society needs to start thinking differently about it if we want a more moral society.
As we head towards local government elections late next year, people across South Africa are experiencing the effects of corruption in their town or city. Let's find out which town is going through the most in the annual Caucus Town of...
Welcome back to Caucus Dorpie of the Year. On tonight's show, we travel far and wide across the country to bring you only the best of South Africa's worst small towns. Coming in at third place, drumroll please, it's Makhanda! This historic university dorpie, formerly known as Grahamstown and famous for its art festival and insane drinking culture, now has a f***all water to drink culture.
Rose University in Makhanda in the Eastern Cape has suspended its academic programs due to severe water supply issues in the town.
It's been a really long week for some of the students. They seem that not getting any answers from the municipality.
It's been really stressful. It also has an impressive track record of imaginative, shall we say, abstract service delivery.
It seems as though even collecting the buckets from the various households that still use the bucket system does not happen. And you can imagine the stench that comes with the sewage that's running through the streets.
Now that's Some quality cuck right there. It's time to reveal this year's runner-up. And in second place, it's the small town of Kraipan. Nestled in the exquisite bushveld of the Northwest Province, this town is named after the emotional reaction residents in the Ratlu municipality have on a daily basis. Kraipan.
They will come and say there's service delivered, there is absolutely nothing.
Oh yeah, we are very proud of our track record. A quarter of our residents have no access to piped water, 85% rely on pit toilets, and 92% of residents have to sort out their own trash disposal.
There's nothing wrong about that.
Now, to the moment you've been waiting for. This year's Dorpie of the Year winner. The competition was very tight, but this year, the winner is Messina! Nestled in the far north of South Africa, this town scored high marks with the judges thanks to its water supply issues and the fact that it is literally a dump.
Thanks to the amazing Keeno-Lee Hector for guest starring in that sketch. Onke, it's interesting out there if you're not in Cape Town. So what if there's a little racism here and there? So tell us a bit more about how corruption can affect local service delivery.
Whether it's corruption at national level, setting the tone and depriving local municipalities of much-needed funds, or the local municipalities themselves doing the looting, the end result is reduced service delivery. Ultimately, the biggest losers are the citizens, as this creates a vicious cycle of mistrust. Customers don't pay for services, funds for services dwindle.
Okay, so basically, that's the reason why no one has paid their TV license.
But I still do. Me too.
You guys are the only two people that pay for it. No one here has a TV license. So, what solutions are there for regular citizens to get involved and step out the tide of corruption in their own town or city? Let's hear some ideas from groundwork collectives Balintu.
Because we have such a participatory democracy, if anyone's interested, particularly when it comes to local government elections, you have a say in what happens on your very streets. Your IDP processes, the budgeting process on your municipality, all of these are by design and by law meant to come up to public participation. Everyone should at least have the contact details of a ward councillor. There's also things like community policing forums. People mustn't also feel like they all must take all of this individually on. There's lots of people in our communities that also might be the right kind of people that you might just need to talk to. But I think just very easily is to both get to know what is actually happening in your community. And the best places I always say is the local police station.
All right, comrades, it's the time of the show to hear some of our favorite comments and questions that have been coming in. Onke, what are the people saying?
Well, we've got a question from Mike Rob March from our Instagram who asks, if accountability is a priority, why aren't our law enforcement agencies properly resourced?
Our law enforcement agencies are not properly capacitated. If you think about a murder, right? One detective on the Cape Flats has to deal with how many murders at any given point of time. In this also, there's a deep systemic problem of funding. There's a deep systemic problem of just the motivation. Imagine you're working under terrible working conditions. There's also the risk of you getting shot while you're doing. Not to say that at one point, it's cool, it's a great job. It has its risks. Ultimately, political will needs to happen to change.
Absolutely. And from Facebook, we've got Faisal Peterson who asks, how does corporate corruption contribute to the mismanagement of public resources and government contracts in Letlhogonolo?
It's unfortunate that, people think that government is just one big purse where you can just go and take and just give it to yourself or your family. Because now, ultimately, people are disadvantaged by those actions, People cannot get service delivery because of the money that's going there for whatever crimes or even some of the money is even deleted to political parties. Can you imagine through companies taking money from government? So there is a really serious social impact, caused by corporations taking money for government and public institutions.
Thanks so much to all of you who sent us your questions. We are ready for a studio question now.
Hi, So my question is, what are the political, social, and economic consequences of normalizing corruption in the government and in corporations?
So the first problem, corruption takes away services in a sense that your roads are not fixed on time because someone has a dodgy tender for a road. The second problem happens when we see what's happening in the Gauteng Health Department. Systemic corruption has caused workers not being paid on time, the physical buildings as well. So what we actually need at this point is each and every person standing up, hold people accountable. It starts with your ward councillor, then it goes to your city level, then it goes to ultimately the ballot box as well.
Thank you so much to our brilliant contributors, Onke Ngcuka, Suné, Payne, Letlhogonolo, Letshele. Please give them a huge round of applause. Now, comrades, we are coming to an end of a show that has clearly shown us our nation is in a state. But at the same time, I think we're the ones we've been waiting for. But I know that some of you aren't cut out for DIY and fixing stuff, so you might be considering Trump's offer. In that case, please listen to this public service announcement. Welcome our very good friend, Jan. Bravo, Jan. Alsjeblieft.
Hallo, I'm Jan Hendrik Willem Louis Hubert van de Westhuizen Key for KKK Net. It is a very exciting time to finally be going to the big Trump land, America. Hey, South African is ruling the country now, so it's only up for us from here. Just a reminder that your favorite homemade biltong will not be FDA approved. So we have to leave that behind. But they have beef jerky, which is not good. It's okay, Owens. We'll make a plan. We've been to Spur, we've worn the crown scooters, and we know the American culture. It's in our culture. Are you tired of corrupt politicians with criminal records going into government? Yeah, well, me too. But, Trump was open about taking all those corporate bribes. And finally, a country with state-of-the-art hospitals. But a single hospital visit costs the price of a house. People would rather die at home than call an ambulance. Just don't get sick, okay? Don't get injured. Simple. Be careful of guns and kids. And kids with guns. State captured. Yeah, good riddance, man. You know those Guptas were unelected rich people just telling the president what to do. None of that in America, eh? Okay, you know what is going to be better, Mensa? Load shedding. Yes, the Texas power grid fails every winter. California has rolling blackouts and don't drink the tap water in most places, especially not Michigan. Is this hard? Texas has days of no electricity. Yeah, days. That's okay. No, we'll be fine. A boer maak 'n plan. We know how to hack that as long as you give us the schedule. That's sketch. What about that? No, application. Yeah. Okay. But in America, which is very important for me, the food portions are massive. It's lekker huge, man. The Whopper, the Mac, huge, whatever that's called. We may not be able to pay for them. Sure. The dollar is on the rise, my friends. Also, you can't really beat South African meat. If only Trump would keep the trade going, we maybe import some of that meat. But we will chat to Elon. Hello? Yeah? What do you mean not me? Ja, because I'm Afrikaans. Because ons Afrikaans, maar ek het 5 eerste name en almal van hulle is op DI. Wat sê jy? Just white farmers. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not invited. But I have to say, I was really trying really hard to sell it all to all of you, but from the expert on the caucus towns in South Africa, let me tell you, America is the cockster. Enjoy the bridges that collapse, because that government would rather fund wars than fix their infrastructure. The limited freedom of speech and media manipulation. Yeah, I said it. Forget the Zondo Commission. Their judicial system is extremely skewed. Land of the fuck jou free en voetsek. Hoe sien jy daardie vlag? So trots en so vry, wat deur die nag nog bly waai in die bries. Wie se stem?
I am thank you. I prefer de la re. Thank you, comrades. Thank you for your excellent questions and comments and for watching the show. And that's all we have time for today. Thanks to our incredible guests, our partners on the show, Open Secrets, and to our amazing audience. Thank you also to the support from the Daily Maverick, the UCT studios. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay away.
Okay, go home now. Go home now, it's finished. Go home. Guys, thank you very much for bowling out. This is it.